Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of Game of Thrones Season 6, which is Episode 8. It's called No One. Not today. Oh man, so pretty good episode. We got 2 left for Game of Thrones Season 6. Episode 9 looks incredible, but I'll save kind of the predictions, giving my thoughts on the promo for the next video, which I'll post in about half an hour to an hour so you guys can hear my thoughts on what I think is going to happen with that. So this one was a pretty awesome episode, had a lot of new developments, a lot of things happen, and some kind of things that went against a lot of our sort of predictions and hoping to see certain things in the TV series and then A Song of Ice and Fire. Namely, Clegane Bowl looks like it's not happening, unless there's some other kind of twist. It looks like it's clearly not happening. And then we also saw Jamie, major spoiler warning if you're not caught up, if you haven't seen the episode yet, actually take Riverrun, which I did not see coming either, and especially in such a clever fashion. But he is a Lannister after all, so maybe spending enough time with Tyrion and learning from his father, he was able to, without even spilling any blood, it seems, except for the blackfishes, he's able to take the castle, even though the phrase, I guess he just, what he did, he made them look really bad because he's able to talk Edmure into taking back his home and sort of making a bargain, so to speak, or it seems to be, making a truce. And man, that was that was pretty great, especially when you see the drawbridge lower and the blackfish is starting to get nervous and everything. And I did not see that happening at all. I didn't see any of that happening. And it was quite the twist. And I was thinking we were going to see this, be really drawn out, maybe an entire season at least of kind of this standoff, and maybe they'd be focusing on, other things in Westeros and in Game of Thrones rather than that, and they'd show us some of the siege and how it's going in the TV series version. But no, with this one, Jamie was able to kind of outsmart him right away and use Edmure's lordship to, I guess mutinies to turn against the Blackfish, because of course releasing Edmure back, granted that he doesn't know for sure that he can trust him, but it's definitely worth a shot, and it's better than just slitting his throat or doing whatever the phrase we're going to do. So I was pretty surprised by that. I thought there were some really great scenes with it, though. You have Brienne, she's talking with him, and it was an off-screen death, which I thought was a little bit lackluster. I felt like they could have shown him going down swinging, because I do think he is kind of an important character. He's one of kind of our last, men of Robb's army, I suppose. With him going down, that's kind of the end of Robb's, the whole thing, the War of the Five Kings and everything. The war. I guess that war is officially over now, I guess you could say. It's pretty much 100% over. And now we have, of course, Sansa in next week's episode, and John and the rest of them, starting a new war, you could look at it as, or at least a battle with Ramsay. So I did like the sequence, but I thought it went quite a bit different than what I thought it was going to go. It went a lot different from how I thought, but that's good. That's Game of Thrones. This season I've been doing predictions all season, every episode, just like the High Sparrow with the stairs, and you think, it looks like Jamie's going to slaughter him and this kind of thing, or even in this episode too, it looks like Robert's going to kill Lancel. He's going to kill all 7 of them, and it ends up that he just kills 1. So a little bit less action, I suppose, than maybe we would have liked, especially with the siege. But I thought it was definitely a twist, and it was good, and it was interesting for sure. Also liked the wave at the end when Brienne is leaving, and he kind of waves at her, and thought that was a nice touch, really nice touch at the end. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on that. A little bit let down by the siege, because I was expecting to see some really cool stuff from that. But that said, we can see from the promo that, we know where the budget's going, the $100 million budget for Season 6 of Game of Thrones. I bet you next week's episode cost probably maybe 30% of that. Maybe more, I don't know. Yeah, so that's the stuff with Jamie and the Blackfish. It looks like that's over already. Very unexpected to see that ending so early. Then we have the play with Arya. Let's go over the stuff with Arya in this one. So that was pretty good. And again, kind of unpredictable for us. So it was all basically legit. Like a lot of us were thinking, okay, her being stabbed in the stomach, there must have been something, some kind of no one trickery here, faceless men trickery here, something going on, Jack and Hagar and everything, doing some weird stuff. Arya, maybe that not being Arya, this kind of deal. I really love the ending scene though, and that was the highlight of this episode for me for sure, is when she cuts the light. But she didn't say, not today. I was hoping she was going to just like cut the light out that you'd hear in the black, not today. And then, and then it would go at it, because that was so awesome. And I also loved it too, because like here he is training her and everything, and the waif is supposed to be like this great pupil and everything. And she gets a hold of Needle, and she's able to kill her and return her face. Absolutely brutal. And Jack, to me, he looked quite impressed. He's like, whoa. A big plot twist for him. He did not see that coming for sure. So I did like the scene, though, especially when she cut the lights and everything. Thought that was really cool. And, happy to see her get revenge on the waif. But again, they didn't show us the death necessarily. But we did see quite a few deaths with the Hound, which was really cool. I especially like when you got the 4 guys there, they're screwing around, bungholes and stuff, and then you see in the background, you can just see where it's where it's blurred, and you just see him walking up like a man out of hell, like a horror movie, and then he just dices them up. He just goes crazy with the axe, and just absolutely brutal. You got the guy like oof, right off, and then the other guys. Man, he has the Hound. I think you might say he probably has the best action sequences in the entire series. I'd have to say, like, out of everybody's battles cumulatively, I think his action sequences cumulatively are probably the best. Like when he fights Jeffrey's men, when they find him in the chicken part, and he punches the one. Boof! It's just, oh man, there's some incredible fight sequences with him in them throughout the series, and he's not done yet. He's still kicking. So, but another kind of fan theory that was kind of crushed in this one, I want to say, is that maybe we would see Lady Stoneheart after all. It looks like this time, at least for me, this episode was like pretty much a guarantee that no, unless they do some kind of weird remix where it's been a while too. The Blackfish is dead now, and then also we get to see the Brotherhood without banners, and she's not there, and she hasn't been there. So I don't know. Unless they do something weird with that or something, it looks like will never be in the series. So at least it was good to get some closure, to get to see them again, and to get to see that she's not with them, and that they're hanging guys, but they're the ones who are doing it. It's not her. It's the regular Thorsamir and Eric Dundarian. So that was cool. It was still a fun scene, though, to see him kind of kick out. He's got the axe and stuff, and he just wants to absolutely brutalize them. So it'll be interesting to see what the Hound does if he does decide to join, and join kind of or if he joins them, and then they go to join Sansa's forces. That would be pretty interesting. That would be pretty cool to see, because he is quite the warrior. He's quite the brute. So it's funny. Also like the scene with Bronn and Pod, which is pretty funny when he's like headlocking him and stuff, and everyone wants to hit you, is a funny one. Let's see what else we got. Okay, so King's Landing, we got Kevin and Cersei and Tommen. So the king decrees that the 2 pillars of everything are the faith and the crown. So there will be no trial by combat. Trial by combats are not allowed, it seems, due to the fact that Robert Strong can smoke anybody, and the faith does not. They know that they have nobody that can mess with him, it seems, especially after that test with the 7-on-1, which was pretty exciting, but I was expecting him to smoke everybody. It was still okay, though. It was pretty decent to at least see him crack one skull, so to speak. And I thought that was a nice twist, and I do like kind of how Kevin and Cersei clearly hate each other, and everybody's kind of in there trying to get to Tommen, trying to control them, trying to advise him to their own, kind of wishes, and that the High Sparrow has got his claws into him, so to speak, as well as Marjorie, and Cersei is pretty much like, she feels like kind of like a relic in the situation. So like she's still there, and no one can kind of take her down yet, but everybody hates her, and Olenna told her that she should probably leave, and it seems like to me, that she probably should. If she has a chance, she should get the hell out of there ASAP, as soon as possible. So, and just enjoy whatever time, she has left in her life. Maybe go and stay with Jaime. That's probably where she would be safest, is with the army, I would think, personally. But nevertheless, it was an exciting sequence when she goes in, and it was a cool kind of announcement. And like overall with Game of Thrones this season, I'm getting the feeling that compared to previous seasons, stuff is a lot more peaceful. It's starting to get a lot more peaceful, at least for now, with regards to what happens and the High Sparrow and everybody. Not as much bloodshed right off the bat like we're kind of used to in Game of Thrones after 5 seasons of a lot of brutality and stuff. So there's that. Tyrion getting drunk and the Masters betraying him, which was pretty interesting. Also that Daenerys arrives back, so that was good. And the jokes were, I guess they were a little funny. It was okay. It was decent. And of course, Daenerys is back now, and Drogon's there too. So maybe he could just kind of fly around. Maybe they can set the other dragons free, and they can burn some ships. Yeah, good stuff. And that's pretty much all I want to say about the episode. That's pretty much everything that was included in the episode. It was a pretty good episode, especially the stuff with Arya. Kind of sad the Blackfish didn't last very long, and we didn't get to see his death. I kind of would have hoped that he would have left with Brienne and Pod, but they kill him off screen, so it is what it is. I would have liked to have seen it. I think they could have probably used some slow-mo scenes there or something there just to show us a little bit, more of what happened with him and, kind of make it kind of a little bit more of a tragic sequence than it was. But maybe they didn't want to add a downer to the episode. Maybe they decided not to because of that. So in terms of the episode, I'm going to give it an 8.7 out of 10. It was a good episode. We didn't get as much, as much craziness as I would have expected. But of course, episodes 9 and 10 are still to come. And I'll do my predictions video in about half an hour to an hour, like I said. So you guys can check back for that if you're looking for that, what I think is going to happen in episode 9 and episode 10. That'll be it for this one. Decent episode, but didn't blow me away for Game of Thrones. But, loved a lot of different parts of it, like I said. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Were you happy? Were you disappointed with it? You can write your comments below. And, also, if you liked this video, of course, please don't forget to thumb it up, guys. Always appreciate the thumbs up. You can also share. If you share through to Facebook down below, that also helps me. I also really appreciate that. And favorite, as well as, if you're new, subscribe. Bottom left to subscribe. Just click the button, and you'll get all of the new Game of Thrones videos I do for the rest of the season. And, of course, for the rest of the series. Same with next year. That's it for this one, guys. We'll see you again for the predictions in about half an hour to an hour. It's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.
You better subscribe.